Is Corona over and done with? Yes or no? Well, my answer to that would be, really? I also thought about changing this title. Is everybody supposed to get Corona? And how can we avoid contracting Corona? But quite honestly, and if you want to join Chris, please do. And quite honestly, I don't have the answer to it. But I will tell you this. So last Monday I had my birthday. I get the best present ever. I got Corona. I managed to avoid it like over 2 years. And I remember sitting here right at this spot 2 years ago when we first were in lockdown. I don't know if you remember what it was like being in lockdown. So I'd returned from the States, from Los Angeles, and I remember sitting outside, and it was so weird because we couldn't go anywhere, and I was so used to going to Starbucks and, recording all my videos over there, and then all of a sudden I had to reinvent myself. And one of the things I did was, I've got tons of these mugs, so you can probably see it, with Starbucks logos on there, and I decided if I cannot go to Starbucks, then maybe I can bring Starbucks to me and bring that vibe here. So why did I need that? Not just because I'm an immense fan of Starbucks, so it's not me like promoting them right now or anything like that. It's about, for me, going out and having somewhere like a latte or something else is like, it's like relaxing. And when I'm relaxing, and when we're talking about creating momentum, that's what I do. When I sit down somewhere and there are no distractions, of course there are people going in and out and all that stuff, but when there are no distractions, I'm at my best. And hello, Joe. Hi there. So, going back 2 years in time, I was like, okay, how am I going to do it? And, well, this month's theme is courage. And for those who are wondering, I hear you talk about this month's theme every month. Where it's coming from, you probably heard where it's coming from. So, I work, we are part of a movement maker family, which is being led by Evan Carmichael. He's the YouTube expert. And he has this challenge for us every month to do a live about a certain topic. Well, anyway, this month is courage. I still don't know why Terry chose it. I have to ask him. I mean, I did a live with him like almost 2 hours last Monday. I haven't asked him. I mean, what? Well, that's me, I suppose. Anyway, so 2 years ago, the world went quiet. It was weird. I remembered gasoline prices going not through the roof, but quite the opposite. They've never been at such a low. It was quite interesting, actually. But also, it was good weather. It was great weather. And last year, it wasn't that nice around this time of year. But now it is. The sun is shining. It's a nice temperature. And it was the same way when I came back from LA. And, a lot of people ask me, what do you do when you can't fly back? And I was, I'm a citizen, so they need to get me back one way or the other. But it was chaos. It was sheer chaos. So fast forwarding, last Friday night, I went to a bar and a club, and it was a very spontaneous thing. So I like to have a bite to eat. It's one of the reasons why I love being in the US, and I'm always longing to go back there because over there everything is open 24/7. I mean, I can go places and grab a bite to eat in the middle of the night. And for me, being a night owl, and those who know me, I froze for a second there when I was sharing about this Tumblr, I know. So when every time I go back there, being a night owl, I love just when I wake up, I grab my notebook, and I'll go and write. Haven't been in Chicago just yet, so that's on my list. I think it's with you, ma'am. So, just looking at you. Yeah? You see? Yeah? Okay. Oh, I'm just reading we're going in August. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know it just yet. Now we know. So our goal is to go and go to the Chicago, the One Chicago set and see everything that's happening there. So what's going to be cool is I'll be there without my crutches. So that's going to be, I don't know. I've already had my first time traveling without crutches when I went to Spain about a month ago. And well, now hopefully it will happen more often. So I'm going to get a second brace for my other knee, because that is what I do need to be safe walking around. Because for those who don't know, my joints are always giving me a lot of trouble. And when it comes to legs, you can't replace your legs. And it's going to be a little bit troublesome if you can't walk anymore. And it gives me so much more freedom not having to use my crutches, because then I have my hands and I can use my hands and I can hold things and all that stuff. And after having I had to use them for 7 years. I should have used them over 7 years, way more over 7 years. But after 7 years, I'm so grateful that I don't have to use them anymore. So that's I can tell you how grateful I am for this. But anyway, we were talking about Corona and the title about Corona. So here's the thing. And Joe and I were talking about this last night on our live. Speaking Out Live with Lady Lexi and Cheeky Joe, which is on my YouTube channel, Lady Lexi's Live on the Road, and it's also on this Instagram page. Just look for it under. No, it's not on here. There's just an announcement on here with the YouTube link. Anyway, we talked about being silenced. And we talked about courage, and we spoke about what's going on in the Ukraine. So basically, there's a war going on in the Ukraine. And some people are hesitant to say this is World War III. I guess it's going to be World War III when it's more than two countries, as in it's not only Ukraine and Russia, but others are involved too. I don't know. But anyway, as a result, everybody says Corona is gone. Really? Corona is gone? Is Corona gone? Well, Corona isn't gone. And that's why I said last Monday was my birthday party. And here's the thing. I have these allergies non-stop. So right now, all the birch trees are blossoming. And, well, they are here, very close to here. So whenever I'm walking outside, at some point I get trouble breathing and I start sneezing and all that stuff. So I noticed that I'd been clogged up a little bit again, which of course is a result of the hay fever and all that stuff. Do you really say hay fever? I think you do. Well, anyway, so, going back to it, a week ago, I think from last Saturday, so not this Saturday, but the one before, maybe it was Friday, I don't know. Our government, the Dutch government, said, you know what? Corona is over and done with. Well, that's not what they said. What they said, that's what the effect was. What they said was, there's no reason anymore to have clubs close up. They can be open again, which was good. It was amazing that they finally could get back to opening up at night instead of closing up at 10 or at 8. So I was thrilled. I was thrilled for those people. I don't know how they survived. But I do know that those who did survive, they paid a lot of money from their own savings. And I can't say anything but kudos to those people who made sure that their staff could keep on living, could keep on paying their groceries. Nothing other than kudos, kudos, kudos. So someone wants to join, and I think that's Joe. Let's see where she is. This filter is amazing, but not when you've contracted corona, obviously. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. Good to see
I'm
you.
sitting in the garden.
Yeah, I'm looking like I'm 70 years old. I can't remember if I have said all these wrinkles over the years.
Oh, look at me. Say
Yeah.
hello.
Oh, hi, Violet. How are you?
Wave.
Hi there. So I don't know if you listened to the live. So I was going down memory lane,
Yeah.
going back to 2 years ago, when Corona just first started. And for me, I was in LA. We didn't know one another back then.
No.
And of course, it's an entirely different story for you. So we'll get back to that in a little bit. So and then I made this jump to our live we did last night, talking about being silenced and the need to speak up and courage. And of course, that people say now there's a war going on between Ukraine and Russia, but we can't call it World War III because it's only between Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so nice how they look at those things. Um, so let's link it to Corona. So now everyone says Corona is gone. So about a week ago, the Dutch government decided to lift all restrictions. And I just gave kudos to all those who managed to survive those 2 years. The clubs, and we're the last one to finally be lifted from lockdown. And I'm so happy for them that they have this possibility again. I mean, they had to do without 2 years of any income whatsoever, and they used up all their savings. Well, I don't know if it's all their savings, but probably a lot of them did. And that's why a number of them had to close down. And so when I went to the first one last Friday, which was, by the way, purely coincidental, I just wanted to have a bite to eat. Oh, you look amazing with those green dots. It was fun. I was walking around and I felt a little bit hesitant.
Come on.
Oh, she's the sweetest out there. I was feeling a little bit hesitant, part of me was like, oh, I'm so enjoying being out there with the lights and all and the people talking because that's me. I love being amongst other people. And so the other part was like, oh, but this is way too crowded, not having any stability at all. It's hard for me to walk when people are like walking past me all the time. Yeah, I'm waving to Violet. She's such a cutie. Yeah. So that was good. And I talked to the owner and I said, wow, you have a lot of people walking around here. How do you get all those people? Because one of the things I've learned is that because of the lockdown and people basically got other jobs. So the staff they once had were all gone and try and get your staff back. But they had a lot of people walking around and there were a lot of customers too. So they did really good. So I really complimented them on that. So afterwards, just as unexpectedly, we went to this gay bar club. Whatever you want to call it. Anyway, not that I'm gay. I'm just going to say it. I said it last night again. because of my voice and my looks, a lot of people think I'm a lesbian. Well, I'm not. I'm not bisexual. I'm just saying it. Yeah, 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 you have a ball. Well, let's be honest. I mean, what was
Oh
it?
dear.
About a month ago that I had someone on the phone and she looked at me through the window of the door and she was like, huh? And I said, okay. And then she said, I expected that you were a guy. Why? Yeah, because of the way you sound. Yeah, gay guy, of course. So you have to take over for me for a sec because I'm a little bit sniffling. So you can talk
Okay.
in, please. I will talk
Oh,
on with you.
yes. Well, yeah, as we was talking about Corona,
Yeah.
um, now all the restrictions have been lifted in most of the countries. It is still kind of scary, especially for people like me who lost somebody during COVID. And I think it's like a big shock that it's just happening. Everything's getting back to normal. And it's kind of sort of not
For better.
scary, but it's like all those that died, like my husband in the first trimester of it, have just all seemed to be forgotten about. I know life has to go on, but it's still kind of
It's still raw.
harrowing.
It's
Yeah,
still raw.
still very raw.
That's why I said I keep thinking about 2 years ago. Of course, for me, 2 years ago was like the world changed overnight for me because I was used to going, places like Starbucks, and then I would literally record videos over there. You can see it on my channel still on YouTube.
Where did they go?
Right there, and I would just, chill and relax. Of course, you had a completely different experience. Oh, well, I think Joe's gone for a sec. Not sure what happened over there. Um, so let me go back to my story, and then I'll connect back to Joe's story as well. So when we went to the second place, and I had to say it was such a fun place. So do I regret having gone there? I don't think I do. Um, Am I annoyed with the answer I got when I called them to tell them I'm actually having corona? Yeah, I do. Do I blame them? No, I don't, because it's the Dutch government, after all, who has lifted all restrictions. Here's the thing. I think it's good that clubs are open again. And I am aware that it's going to be very hard to say we have to keep like 3 to 5 feet distance. That's virtually impossible. But there are some things that we can still do. So for one thing, I was really happy with the Corona Check app. So everyone who hadn't contracted Corona before or didn't get vaccinated, they basically couldn't get in unless, and this is the big unless, they got tested prior to going there. So it was testing for access. And I guess that last one is one I would be most happy with. But of course, that's not to be done because that's way too expensive. So here we go. I managed to stay clear from contracting Corona for 2 years. And believe me, I've tested a lot. So I'm one of the people who have one-on-one patient contact. So I'm a caregiver. Also, I'm one of those who is is at risk, and that's what I'll be going into in just a little bit. Hi there, beautiful. There she is again. And there's Ellen. Well, Ellen, if you want to join, please do. And the third reason is because of my health, I go to the physical therapist like twice a week. Anyone who wants to join, please just send in a request. I love seeing you all there. You're bringing all your friends, Joe. That's amazing. That's cool. So I managed to avoid to stay clear from it. Yeah, well, until last Friday. And again, I don't regret having had a lot of fun because I had the best time ever. So who is going to join us? Let's see. Do you know Abid Khan?
Probably.
Yeah, well, let's see. Here's the thing, we don't know everyone, but I can tell you, if they're going to do weird things, you'll be banned straight away. So, yes, hello. Hello, sweetness.
Hi, Marianne. Say hello to
Yeah,
Marianne.
exactly.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Now, Paula wants to join too. Let's see. And again, everyone who's joining, you're welcome. Just be respectful for everyone. So, as some of you might know, Jo not only has lost her husband about 2 years ago, but she contracted COVID not too long ago. So when did you get COVID? In December, January? When did you get it?
It was February. Yeah.
February. Okay, so not too long ago. Yeah, that's Violet, Ellen. Oh, she's so cute. She's so cute. She's the best one out there. So I think Paula is trying to join. Well, Paula, I can't seem to add you to the feed. So I'm sorry, I tried to. I've clicked like 3 times already. But yeah, now this is brain fog. Brain fog. I'm getting distracted. So when you contracted COVID, which basically was, I guess that the same thing happened to you, which happened to me. It's kind of funny or sad in a way. Depends on how you look at it. But you went clubbing with your friend, and just the day before you were supposed to get your booster, and then there you went, and off you went, and you had COVID. Congratulations, you just managed to be one of a statistic. We're statistics now, really?
Exactly, yeah. Go out for a week and have fun, and oh yeah, guess what? You got COVID. Great.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, we have freedom. Oh yeah, you have to stay at home in quarantine. Well, of course, for you, the result was kind of harsh, and even though you've been vaccinated, you got it pretty bad, and probably you would have needed that booster. And again, I'm in luck because I'm a caregiver, and I'm prone to all these kind of things. I'm higher on top of the list of getting boosters and all that stuff. And so let's see who wants to join. Ellen wants to join. Oh, that's always nice. And Paula is trying again too. Well, Paula, for some reason, isn't capable of joining. Where's Ellen?
Hey!
Hi, sweetheart.
How are you?
See you. Well, I'm in quarantine, as you might have guessed.
Oh, I didn't know. And also, what's your guest name?
Yeah, Jo. So Jo is with me. Kiki Jo.
That's Jo?
Yes,
Hi, Jo. Lexi, did you say she just lost her husband?
2 years ago.
21 months ago. Yeah.
So how are you doing? And my condolences to you. How are you doing in this new journey?
It was very, very hard at first. Very hard. Obviously, we were together over 20 odd years, and we did everything together, and then having that suddenly taken away from you, just like that, it was really hard. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Nanny's girl. You be a good girl. That's my granddaughter. Sorry. It's been a lot of struggles. Obviously, sorting things out, having to learn to deal with being on my own, and trying to. It's a new learning curfew, basically. Normally we did everything together as a couple and husband and wife, and now it's just such a big change that it's been really hard to adapt, but I'm getting there slowly. And with the help of Lexi, she's helped
Lexi.
me immensely. Yeah, Lady Lexi. She's helped me immensely because I was one of these that never liked speaking out or anything like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I always held everything in, and I never really had the courage to do anything like that, you know. But she's really given me a lot of courage and things to help me speak out. So I really, 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 really am happy with her because she's helped me
Lexi, you know I
immensely.
know how to talk, so tell me when to stop talking because I can talk to her for a while.
Or
You
you just
talking?
keep on going.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking like day one after your husband passed,
Mm.
and if someone else is grieving, were you like able, like you said, you didn't talk that much. Were you able to like get out of bed day one, hold your head up day two, or
No.
is that your child, or either explain death to your child? Is that if that's your child?
Yeah, that's my granddaughter. I have three children. Two are adults, and one's just now turned 17. She was 15 when her dad passed, and she was a daddy's girl, so it was really, really immensely hard for her. Very, very hard. Um, the first day after it happened, obviously I hadn't slept from the time he went into hospital, which was Good Friday, and he passed away on the Easter Sunday. And I was just physically exhausted after we were told that he had passed. I couldn't move. I just sat there like, it was just, I think it was more shock than anything. Because I was just totally exhausted. So I slept for a few hours and I got up, and I don't think it really sunk into any of us, you know. It was like a dream. It wasn't real. It just didn't feel
Mm-hmm.
real. But the first week was immensely hard. I really struggled, like doing normal daily things, getting up and getting out to go shops, obviously, because you still had to go out and get your food and stuff like that. And it was really hard just trying to do that, just normal daily tasks. It was really, really hard. But eventually, a few months down the line, I joined a group on Facebook, widows who lost COVID. So I ended up making 4 friends. So we
Mm-hmm.
all had this thing in connection. They all lost their husbands too. So then we started group chatting, like we'd talk and everything. So if one was feeling down, then the other would talk and that. But I still found it hard to talk, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was a real struggle.
Can
Were
you
you
kindly
able?
share what happened last Sunday night with your friends from the group?
Mm. Yeah, my friend, because she lost her husband and all, she was in a bad way Sunday night. She started drinking a lot of alcohol, and she kept threatening to pop tablets. I want to end my life. So I got Lady Lexi. I've got her to come into the video chat and to talk to her because she just wasn't listening to me. And obviously, with somebody different that you don't know, you tend
Mm-hmm.
to listen, and which she did, didn't she? You know, she
Yep.
listened to you, and it helped her, and you know, because
Yeah,
I
she
was just
was in a
petrified.
she
She was
was in
in
a
a bad
very
way.
bad place. She basically said, "I don't have anyone to live for anymore, and no one is going to miss me." And that's,
Uh,
I think, what people need to realize. I mean, we're talking almost 2 years after it happened, and she fell ill, as in mentally ill, and as a result, physically ill too.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of people still are traumatized. I mean, Joe is still traumatized. And of course, there are waiting lists everywhere. So in order to get treatment, you have to wait like a year and a half before you
Mm-hmm.
can get any treatment because of everything that has happened. A lot of caregivers either have fallen ill or they've decided it's too much pressure. I'm going to back out. Um, So when she told me that her friend was about to pop pills, I asked her, okay, what's going on? And she said, well, I feel lonely. I feel like no one cares. I said, well, you're talking to Joe. I said, how do you think she's going to feel if you're not around anymore?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that. And then I said, okay, so who else is in your life? And then, of course, it was mom, dad, siblings, or one sibling, not sure. You know that, Joe. Anyway, and then we got to like, okay, so see, there are more, and she's got cats, so okay, so your cats too, yeah, well, they can live without me. And for a second I was thinking, and I didn't say this, and you may have to laugh out loud when I say this, but do you know that those stories about people who have died and they leave their cats without any food, you know what they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
it's going to be their food. So when they find her owners, they're like, some pieces are missing of the owner. Where did it go? Yeah, they become cat food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, that's
hear
true.
me?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's true though. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So I didn't say that to her, but it was going through my mind. My mind's always going like 100 miles an hour. Always so many thoughts. Because I've got the ADHD, especially the age, the hyper.
Mm-hmm.
So I managed to. Hi, Violet. She loves blowing kisses. So
I'm glad that because that is really good. And I was asking you, Joe, when your husband passed, or we like to use the word transition. That's what we like to use the
Yeah.
word.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
When
good
your
one.
husband transitioned, were you angry at God, or people believe in
No,
God?
no, I wasn't angry. I was angry with whoever started the COVID. It was like, why did this happen? Why did I have to spread this? What made them do this? What made them cause this? Like, just taking innocent lives, because obviously I knew at the time there was thousands and thousands of people around the world that were dying of it. So I knew I wasn't the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, and of course back then we didn't know.
I mean,
what
I
caused it.
prayed to God that he was going to be all right. I prayed, and it was, but I knew that he wasn't going to survive because the severity of the disease and what it caused, because my husband had asthma and he was diabetic, so it went straight to his lungs, because when he went in, they done an x-ray, both of his lungs were literally covered in COVID, as if there's nothing they can do. So
So
it was just,
I know in 2 years. So was it a matter of 2 years knowing, or matter, because this
And
is
then you may
sorry,
need to repeat that again. We couldn't hear you.
okay?
yeah,
Because COVID has been out for 2, I believe, years going into it. So when you found out, was it a matter of early or within that year as COVID progressed?
he was, COVID, we went in lockdown in March. I think
Yeah.
the whole world went in lockdown, didn't we?
It was
Around
about a
about
year
March,
ago. We went in lockdown 2 years ago.
Oh, it was
2 years ago, yeah.
the first
Yeah.
strain.
Yeah, it was the first strain, yeah. He went in, he was on the April, that's when nobody could go and visit them, nobody could see them. But because I lived with him, they literally gave me 10 minutes with him to say goodbye. He was still alive.
We're talking 10 minutes. Only 10
10 minutes.
minutes.
Wow. So you
I couldn't touch him. No, I couldn't touch him.
no funeral.
So it's basically for a glass, and I managed to hold his hand quickly, and I took a photo of me holding his hand because I had gloves on, but I couldn't go near his face, I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't touch him. I was covered in like a visor thing, I had apron on, gloves, and literally
You were
10
wearing a
minutes.
spacesuit.
Yeah,
You
that's
were wearing
And
a spacesuit.
grieving we do now, because grieving, they
Okay, we heard you talk about grief and then you disappeared again. Yeah,
I got a
we tried to
call.
get you to join. I tried.
we got a different way of grieving in this new norm. And so
Mm.
back in the day you could have a full-fledged funeral and stuff like that. And I was always wondering, someone who had to go through, because my husband, his one of his military friends, his mom in the first strand of COVID, she passed, very healthy, and so he couldn't see her at all.
Mm.
And she had to, I guess they burned the body up, but I hate to say that now, what you're listening, but I wondered how people who have to bury their loved one and they have to see them just for a quick moment, other than
Mm.
just sitting there and being able to, just let it soak in and stuff. So I can
Mm.
imagine, I'm not speaking for you, but I can imagine that what's getting you the most is that 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
Ellen, are
Well,
you talking about in the first episode of COVID? Are you talking about people in the hospital or in general?
In general, in general.
Okay, because Joe and I have very different experiences. I mean, I lost my mom a year ago during the lockdown, but she was at home. So that for me, when she passed away a year ago, it was chaotic because we had to be back in at 8 o'clock at night. There was curfew. Of course, I had an exception, being a caregiver, also for my mom. So I could go out anytime I wanted. But here was the thing: all restaurants were closed too, and I couldn't cook. So back then, I was still walking on crutches. I was still recovering, and and I remember even back then, a few times police called me to come over there, and we needed paramedics too. And I actually needed the police to get my crutches from the car because the times I would be walking back and forth, they really hurt my ankle a lot. And basically, it was in the way of my recovery what was going on. So I remember that she went downhill at some point, and of course, then there were only a limited amount of people who were allowed to get there. But I did get the family doctor, the GP, to come over there. She at some point got a physical therapist, and my mom basically hated me for it because she didn't want anyone in that house. But she also didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to go to a care facility, and I tried to make it possible for her to stay out of the care facility. So that was, that was she didn't like me for interfering. But in the end, I was there like 6 times a week, and that last Wednesday when I was there, my brother had actually cooked something, the basic stuff. And then I went to the store and I made a proper Indonesian dish, with everything and with the emping and all the stuff, everything you could think of, it was there. And we had a great last evening. So that was on Wednesday, and on Sunday I was like, normally I would go there at least in the weekend one time, and I was so, all those courses were there, and I was like, okay, I have VIP call with this one, I've got a mastermind with the other one, I've got the course here, and it was all going, at the same time. So I called my brother and I said, because he had installed these cameras, and I said, have you heard anything from mom? And I was like, should I go there? Should I not? But I was really in a hyper state. And when I'm in a hyper state, I'm no good. I'm not the best one out there. And I know this. I can be really cranky. So he said, no, I'm not seeing anything. But I haven't heard anything either since 2 o'clock. And I was like, that's not good. We're talking about 8 o'clock in the evening. So it was his son's birthday. And of course, I get it. Um, And all the alarm bells were going off in my head. Like, this is not good. I need to go there. But I was like, if I go there now, and she's going to ask me for food, which I can't provide because I couldn't cook and I couldn't get any from across the street. I was like, yeah, that's going to be a problem. And if she's going to be harsh because I was bothering her, that was going to be the same thing. So, despite everything that was going on, I decided not to go. And back in that day, I was on suicide watch with a couple, I think with 3 other people. So my mom I knew she was close to dying. And there were 3 other people I had to keep an eye on because I knew they would if the things didn't change for them, I knew they were going to check out. So when that next day on Monday, so we're talking on Sunday that I knew I had to get there. So Monday, I brought one of my clients to the Salvation Army. He was homeless, and he was still young. He was around 30 years old, and he has autism. And one of the hardest things you can do when people have autism is change their environment. And that's why he was struggling. He's struggling a lot. So there I was going there, and I got a call, and then I got another call, and it was like, no, I'm focused on him now. This is the worst day in his life, probably. Well, the worst day in his life was when his friend, which also used to be a client of mine, had committed suicide during COVID. And I couldn't take another suicide anymore. So when you see those swallows right here, she tattooed those actually on my arm. And it was her third tattoo, I think. She was good. But she didn't believe in herself. So there was a tragic loss. Anyway, so when my mom, as it turns out, she was laying on the floor, and she was in this angle that my brother couldn't see it, and they call it still her last breath. So the last breath can apparently last up to 24 hours, and she had pulled this pillow under her head. And she used a broom. She didn't want to use crutches, so she used a broom to go through the house. And she had left it right next to the door, and she had walked into the room. So I must assume she saw the light, she saw my father, whatever it is, what she saw. Maybe it was the blood clots that had gone swerving around in her brain, because a week prior to it, she slid on the floor when she tried to open the fridge. And when she finally managed to open it, she fell back down, and she literally slid over the floor. And there was this big of a dent in the door of the restroom. And as you can tell, Joe's mom passing away last week, it has triggered a lot of my memories again. Anyway, so I got this call, and then another call, and then when I got out, then I got a text from my brother. Oh, you probably know this by now, but Mom has passed away. So the first person I talked to actually was the undertaker. And this is actually a funny but true story. So my dad passed away 9 years prior. So if you talk numbers, and this is really funny, so look at the numbers with me. My dad passed away February 12th, 2012. Then my mom passed away on February 1st, 2021. What are the odds? So he had called me what we call a pocket conversation. So totally out of nowhere, and I think it was in December. So I called him back. He didn't hear me. He called me, and I said, well, I'm going to talk to you soon again. We still remembered one another because he had really helped me out when my dad passed away. And I said, well, we're going to talk again soon. You can count on it, because my mom is not going to make it much longer. And then, so he was the first one I called. But back then, we had the celebration in the church, the ceremony, and I think either up to 30 or no, up to 50 people were allowed, if I'm correct. So that was good. And my mom was Catholic, so, and what I did do, and Joe heard this when her mom passed away, I actually sent it to her. I played the piano over there. So my mom had a baby grand, and one of the things I remember was thinking I need to do what we call quatre mains. So then you're with two people behind the piano and playing the piano. And I'd ask her a couple of times, but she couldn't anymore. And that's when I realized that, mentally it was going downhill as well. She was old, she was practically 89 years old. So she had a good life, and she was done with life. I mean, she couldn't walk anymore. She couldn't keep her balance. She was afraid of everything. So that made it really hard. But a lot of people came around. That was good. I had someone to actually record what I did, so it's on YouTube. That video of me playing the piano, paying tribute to her. But of course, and that's what I remember most. When my brother and my sister came over, it was like, what are we going to do? We want to hug one another, but what do you do? And so my brother, of course, I'd see my brother a lot because he was the other caregiver when it came to my mom. So we weren't able to keep distance because my mom didn't hear anything anymore unless you were sitting close to her. So, and at some point I was actually feeding her, because she was so tired, she couldn't get out of bed. So I would grab a slice of cake, anything sweet, didn't matter. She would eat it as long as it was sweet. I've never been that much to the bakery shop as when I was in her last month. And that was young, and then she would be all happy again because at first she was really annoyed when seeing me. Why did you stay away that long? But then when she would start eating, so I literally this is because I've dealt with other people who have physical problems. So I'm used to literally saying, okay, here's food. I'm slicing it up. I'm putting it on a fork and I'm feeding you, just like a little child. And then I would give her pain medication. And then at some point she was, okay, here I am again. I would give her some water to drink, and she would come back to life again. So, my brother, I mean, he had, of course, his own family, so that was his bubble. But we shared a bubble too with my mom. So we did hug, but my sister was like, no, we're not going to, and I can't blame her. So that was the first thing that was really different when it came to COVID. And, well, I told you last Monday was my birthday, but a year ago was my 50th birthday. And it was the first time, well, and basically to say the way it is, I was an orphan. And there I was, half surgery old, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to celebrate my birthday? Because it was still COVID,
Yeah.
and that was hard. That was really, hey, there's Yuko. Yuko, you're so welcome to join.
So,
Um,
Lexi, I wanted to go
yeah,
back again because I was listening to you say that uh, when you didn't hear from your mom, and then
yeah,
you start thinking norm. Let's say start thinking norm, like a normal thing y'all have. Mama wants you to come over, and you had wanted something for her, but you didn't have that for her. So in your mind, it was like a regular day. So I want to ask you that, being that when it came up
no, there
to,
was nothing regular about it.
you
Nothing
found out that
regular about it. There was
nothing
nothing
regular.
regular. No. No, that Sunday, I still remember sitting at the stairs of my house. Um, I needed I needed to take a shower. I'd been doing laundry, and I was stuffed in courses. I was literally stuffed in courses and colds. And that day was actually the best day when it came to finding out what my story was. That was the weirdest thing. I was such high when it came to finding out certain things. And then at that same time, I knew my mom needed me. So I really struggled with it. And for the first few days, I actually felt really guilty until, and this is a big until, I realized that if I had gone there, I would have done exactly the opposite of what she had wanted me to do. First of all, she had been on the floor for a while now, and she didn't want to go to the hospital. She hated hospitals. And I dragged her there once, and don't tell me how that ended up. She was like this little kid in the hospital. I don't want to do this, that, and the other. and but I don't know. If she had managed to survive, she wouldn't have been able to live on her own anymore. I mean, the police had already asked me a few times about it because they had to wait for me in order to open up the door, and I'm living on the total different opposite side of the city. So it would
Oh, wow.
take me at least half an hour in order to get there, and I'm the one who's close by. So it's then when I realized, okay, it's good that I didn't go there because I'm the one who would have moved heaven and earth like I did when my father passed away to make sure that she would get the best care. And because I didn't go there, she was
Hmm.
able to do what she wanted, and when she was passed away in her sleep. And even though she passed on the floor with a pillow underneath her head, she was lying there, really peaceful, in the fetal position,
Oh,
and that was good.
that's good. That's peaceful, You're
Yeah.
peaceful. I learned my father, he passed 2008. He passed, he had cancer, and it got in his bone and stuff. But my dad knew he had 5 years earlier. He already knew he had it, but he wasn't being sick or anything. And
Yes.
he never wanted us to take care of him. And when I saw him, and I don't know if you ever seen somebody that, okay, like he was 200 and some pounds, and then he went down to 160 pounds there.
Yeah, you want to talk to Joe in a minute.
Hmm. And so,
Yeah.
and then on a pamper and stuff, and he do not want us to take care of him. So what I'm getting at, Lex and Joe, is that sometimes, as much as we don't want to hear this, sometimes they are tired and they are ready to go, and we want to suck them here, and we know,
Yes.
it's me, we know that we're not changing no pamper. You go in there, you get them. I did them last time, and Daddy didn't want any of that. We have to realistically say that someone is not feeling well and they want to go. As much as we want us to hold on to them, I had to learn myself that sometimes people want to go.
Yeah, and that was the same for my mom. And I've been wondering if I kept her longer here than what's necessary. So my dad passed 9 years before that. He had first it started with heart disease, similar to what you just said, and then 5 years later he developed bladder cancer. So and that went pretty quickly because it obstructed his kidneys. And so by the time my father really wanted to live, he was close to 88, but he wanted to live, really live. My father was, when it comes to appearances, I look like my mom, but when it comes to character, I look after my dad. So, and he really wants to go on. So I remember finding him on the bed. So 3 police officers had picked him up, and they had put him on the bed because my father was 6'6". He was 2 meters, so he was big guy.
Wow.
And yeah, he
So
was.
how tall are you,
And
Lexi? You look tall. How tall are you?
I'm not that tall. I'm. Joe, do you know the measurements in meters as compared to inches?
What was?
I'm 150. I'm 158. So that's 5'8", I suppose.
You're probably about five
You know?
six, 5'7". Yeah, 5'6", 5'7".
See, like mine, I think it says
Okay.
62 inches, so I'm 5'2".
Okay.
I'm 5'2".
Mm.
I'm thinking,
I'm
Lexi, tall. You're probably
I'm
about
Yeah.
5'7". Yeah,
5'10".
I'm 5'7".
You're 5'7". I'm thinking Lexi is
Yeah.
about 5'9", 5'10", because you look tall. And I'm only 5.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
know though. I don't think she does. I don't think she's that tall.
They say
No,
6 inches. I think that's what they said.
No, I'm not that tall. If I stand in
no. I
front
think you're
of
probably
when I'm in the store, yeah, when I'm in a store, I can hardly reach the top shelf. So if there's something
yeah.
behind the top shelf, I need to ask other people to get it for me.
Mm.
And when I'm
You're
at a
about
concert,
5'6".
especially with all those young people, yeah,
Yeah, you are
then I need.
You're
And
five
I've
foot six.
got the smallest size hands there is for a woman. I've got the broadest ones, but I've got the smallest size hands.
Yeah, I've just checked anyway. You're 5'6".
5 foot
Just
six.
under 4.
Okay, there's the answer.
And I'm
So
5'2". And how tall are you, Joe?
And I'm 5'7".
See, y'all tall. I'm a shorty.
Mm.
yeah, my mom
Grand-
was too. I could literally look across her head. So no, it's funny. So I was
My
tall
son,
compared to my
my
mom.
son is 6'2". My son he's 6'2".
You see, my husband is 6'3", and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm by his armpit.
Mm. But he towers me and his dad, so he's just 6'2". I don't know where he got that from, but he's like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so used to tall people because I was a little girl, and then my father would walk us up to school, and of course, he took big steps. He didn't care that we were little, so we had to practically run next to him when we were going to school because we were
Wow.
always late. But getting into what you said, my father had to make the choice on the spot, literally, if he wanted to stay alive or not, and and it was very emotional. So
Mm.
compared to my mom, it was a different passing altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to make this choice, and I remember sitting next to him on the stretcher, and I said to the doctors, well, if you want to decide whether you want to do surgery on him, then maybe you should also talk to the other doctors because there's more going on than just the cancer in his bladder, and because of course and with the heart disease and all going on. So in the end, they decided not to do it, but my dad also said we want to, and he actually said it to me. I want you to be able to travel and to travel the world and explore it and join it because that was my dad. So, and it was weird. I was consoling him. I was literally being his rock because he didn't have any balance anymore.
Oh.
And at the same time, he was trying to take away this tear because tears were streaming down my face. And but he decided, and it was weird because the week before he wanted to live, literally the hour before he wanted to live, and at that moment he just couldn't anymore. But he passed away with everybody surrounding him, which was good. That was amazing. We said prayer together. Then my mom said something, and then he was gone.
Mm.
So,
So on the
and this is
machine?
why I.
Was he on the
I'm
machine,
sorry.
a court machine, or he was
No,
no? Okay.
no. He was fully awake, alive. He could even say my mom's name like, right until the end, but basically he bled out. So it was a shortage of vitamin K, and he basically bled out. I can't say it
Mm-hmm.
any differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was the most scary thing
Do
to
you
to
remember
endure.
him?
I'm sorry.
Do you remember what mom said to him before he transitioned?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what happened in those final moments. So
Mm-hmm.
my mom, she's from the Free Catholic Church, so that's a little bit different. So she made this pentagram, and I remember that she was looking at him. Oh my boy, what have they done to you? You look so small. And she was really. And then because I'm an energetic therapist, and we talked about this a lot. And she had been raised in Indonesia. It was normal for her to also contact the spirits. So that's what she did. She made this pentagram, the positive one, of course, um, prayed upon them, and it was done. Same second, it was done. He took two breaths, one, and then it appeared he was still alive and then was gone. And back then, I was holding his hand, and prior to what happened, I actually took him, and something I don't talk about that much, because some people have given me some doubts. But I actually was holding his hand, and I took him to see his dad and other people who already had passed over. And every time he saw a familiar face, he was like this. And my sister saw it, and it's a shame we didn't record it. And later on, I said to her, "Yeah, that was every time we saw something he couldn't believe was true." Um, so that was really weird, and she was actually a bit upset with me because she felt like every time he was like, "Whoa, what's happening here?" That he could die at that instant. That was very, but he was holding my hand really firmly, and two fingers of mine were one of his. So he had these big fists. But he was holding me tightly. But I remember going and telling him, "It's not scary. See, there's your dad, and there's there. Those people you can see, you can still watch over us." And I remember when he finally did pass, he actually said to me, Okay, now you need to go outside and follow your mom and follow your siblings. Yeah. What the hell are you still doing here? You need to leave. I'm gone now.
Oh,
Go and be with them. It was so funny. Whereas when my mom passed away, I remember the sink dripping. And at some point I was like, what am I listening to? And it was right around the time she passed away that everything almost started to flood down here. So that was around that time. So now maybe we can go and give Joe a voice a little bit because
okay.
her mom passed away on my birthday last Monday. So maybe you can start with what happened on your birthday, which was a few days prior to mine.
Yeah, my birthday was on the 27th of February. My mum was diagnosed with prostate and liver cancer in December. She was supposed to start chemotherapy. She had a couple of courses, but she ended up with deep vein thrombosis in the legs due to the chemo. So they stopped that, and within a matter of a week, yeah, pancreatic, yeah, and liver as well, yeah. So on 3 days before my birthday, my stepfather and my brother and that rung me and said, look, Mum's on her last days now, there's nothing they can do. And because my mum lives in Belgium and I'm in the UK, I had COVID 3 weeks ago. Because I had COVID, the Belgian law would not let me enter the country for at least 6 weeks. So I could not be with her, which was hard because I couldn't get to tell her the things that I wanted to tell her. Because I hadn't seen her in a couple of years, obviously due to COVID. And so on the 27th was my birthday, and I'm thinking, please, just don't die on my birthday. I'm thinking, and my brother said she was refusing morphine. And I was like, oh, why is she refusing morphine? And she was in a lot of pain. Well, on my birthday, my nephew said, what I'll do, Auntie Jo, is I'll video call you when I'm at the hospital and you can speak to Nanny. He said, she's not waking up, she doesn't talk, you know. So I went, that's fine, look, as long as I can tell her what I want. They get to the hospital, talking to her, nothing. So my nephew puts a video camera on and I goes, hi Mum, it's Jo, I really love you. And she opened her eyes and she mouthed, I love you too, and put her hand up, and that was the best birthday gift ever.
Oh.
That will live with me for the rest of my life. That was just, and my brother said that's what she was waiting for. She knew it was your birthday. That's why she refused the morphine, because she didn't want to go before your birthday. And she knew, because we kept telling her the day before, we're going to get Jo on video call. We're going to get Jo on video call, Mum. But obviously she was asleep, but she obviously knew, she heard, because they say that you're still here. And then the next day she took morphine and she died 2 days later.
So much for...
But that was just the best birthday gift I could ever have in my life. That was just...
Yeah.
And it was so not, because I've actually screen recorded it as well, didn't I, Lexi?
Okay.
And
yeah, you did.
And
you did. And I remember telling you.
Yeah.
I remember
just having her do that was, just amazing.
That's beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah, because you said you couldn't go there, and I said, why don't you video call anymore? And then you said, well, she's in a coma-like state. So I can't talk to her anymore. And I said, you need to go and have that video talk. I kept saying it to you, and then you did.
Yeah, and then I did, and I got that, yeah. And my brother was like, oh my God, he said, we've been talking to her, nothing. He said, she hears your voice, that's it. And my brother said, she was definitely waiting for you. And that's why she refused the morphine, because she wanted to see you.
Yeah.
On your birthday, she didn't want to.
Tell him a little later, but not so quickly. You can tell him that she likes you more.
Yeah, I can wind him up though. Yeah, she loves me best.
So it's Lexi. It's 11 in my family. It's 11 of us. And so
Oh, wow.
Wow.
it's 8 girls and 3 boys. So with my
Wow.
dad, he would have us all privately to the side, tell us that he loved us. So we thought we had a secret. We all each thought we had our individual secret. And so we finally said to each other, Daddy said he loved me. He said, he told me that too. He said, what? That ain't even no surprise. Everybody privately. It
Yeah,
was so funny. It was funny.
Ah,
it's
that's so sweet.
it's lovely though, isn't it? It is. It's
Yeah,
nice. And
yeah.
obviously, my parents divorced. My mum and dad divorced when I was really young, but my dad still cared for her, and it crucified my dad when I told him. He was so upset, you know. He was like, "Oh my God," because they still got on as good friends, you know, later on in life. But it's just, I watched the funeral as well. They done a live stream for me, and Lexi watched it as well with me. Well, sort of
Yeah.
after, didn't I?
Yeah, that was nice. It was my birthday, and that night before, that's when her friend had called, when you called me because of your friend.
Oh,
So I remember waking up in the middle of the night, or I was about to go to sleep. It's one of the two. And I was like, oh my God. So there we were talking. So it was 7 in the morning before I finally got some sleep. And I have to say, you know, we ended up having fun because I got her to eat, I got her to
yeah,
drink water,
and
then she made
making
herself
fun,
tea.
with laughing, making a joke.
Yeah, I put on
Yeah,
music, and then we were
yeah.
singing to the music. So
Wow.
it
So
was
you
a very good
guys
way
are
to fall
in the same
asleep.
state then? You guys that live in the same state?
No,
Or
I
she?
live in the
No,
Netherlands.
I live in UK, in England.
Oh, that's because I heard your accent. And Lexi, I don't know. Lexi have some kind of twisted accent that she have. And
Yeah,
always
she's Dutch. Yeah, because she's Dutch. So when she speaks, she sounds American
oh,
sometimes.
that's what it is. It's all yeah.
Well, this
I
is the
thought,
thing, Ellen. We are raised to speak proper English, so I know how to speak like Joe. But of course, we listen to all American series and movies and music, so that's not working. When in 2000 I started working for IBM. Hi there.
He came home for lunch.
hello, hello. I didn't see him. Where's he gone? I didn't
Okay.
see. Who is
Come
it?
back, come back. Show
Come
us.
back.
Who is this?
Hello. Hi. Nice to see you.
Hi there.
Uh,
2 beautiful peeps. 3. Well, anyway, so in 2000, I started working for IBM, and that's when I knew that the writing was actually different in US English compared to British English. So
Yeah,
that's
a
when I
lot of different.
decided to start writing in US English, and then a couple of years after that, I decided, okay, I need to figure out if I'm going to use the tomato and to pass away, or I'm going to say
Tomato,
tomato and pass away.
tomato. It's
Yeah,
so
all that
different.
stuff.
you know what? And Joe is that I don't. You should have to like. Okay, so like, I don't. Do you guys know the actress Idris Ubel or something like that? Idris. Well, anyway, if you don't know him, and I'm probably saying his name wrong. Okay, he's from. He's British, right? Black British. I don't know if y'all call him Black British or just British. So
What's his name? What's his
his
name?
name is Idris. Idris. ILIS.
Can you type it in the text?
Idris.
Yeah, him.
Idris.
Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
has to fake this American accent. And I'm
Yeah.
like, when he started talking British, I was like, you mean tell me that you have to just, and he has to like speak American and then hide his British accent. And so now when I see
Mm.
him in commercials and stuff, and my husband say he's British, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no wonder.
Yeah. You could tell with the
I think
accent,
we should,
can't
yeah,
you?
I think we should be able to keep our accents, our language, we shouldn't have to be, have to do away
No.
with those things.
You get like when you get like the Americans as well when they do the proper English accents, and
Yeah,
I listen to it and I'm like, no, we really don't speak like that.
I
Yeah, and
know. I have
I'm
a friend,
also
I have a friend. She's born in England. She's born in English, and she used to tell me different things that we say different from y'all.
yeah,
Okay, so
Yeah.
she was
yeah.
in the store and she asked for rubbers, and so they gave her rubber. But she's like, no, rubbers. You guys call rubbers rubber bands like that. And so they
Yeah,
took,
a rubber is something we erase stuff.
yeah,
A
and
rubber,
she's like,
yeah.
oh my goodness,
And
Yeah, rubber is something different.
she
It's
felt
funny.
so bad. She didn't know what to do. She's like, no. So her face was all red. She's like, no. And then, oh,
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
learning right
biscuits.
now.
She called cookies biscuits, and I'm like, that's a
yeah,
cookie that's
yeah,
called
cookies
biscuit.
is biscuit. You say chips, we say crisps. You
Yeah,
say fries, we say chips.
yeah.
It's really bizarre. It's just
Yeah,
really
it is.
tomato,
Family
tomato,
doctor and
potato,
GP.
potato.
Yeah, family doctor and GP, those are things. Elementary school, kindergarten, it's all
Yeah.
different with junior and all that. It's so it's weird, and also the expressions. So I might use expressions, and Joe is like, "What are you saying?" because she doesn't know. And I've also been to Australia a few times, and it's really easy to adapt to Australian accent because
Yeah, see,
they are sounding a little bit lazy.
I've got family in Australia, so
Love
yeah.
accent. I was like, okay, but with the stuff going on in the world, are you okay in the UK, or are you way, way away from it? Just,
We're literally not that far from it, actually. And he has threatened the first country he will bomb, if it gets to the point, will be London. So it's quite scary. Because I've got friends over here that are Ukrainian and Russian friends as well. So it's really like hard for them because a lot of the Russians don't want this happening. They don't want this war. You know, they're against it. But if they protest, they will nick them and put them in prison or shoot them. Which is
wow.
I didn't know this, but we actually have a military base, also for the NATO, here in the Netherlands, in the north of the country.
Yeah, we
So
have
we
it.
are prone to getting bombed too.
Wow. Did you guys gas go up? Ours went up like.
Oh yes, don't. Oh my God. Yeah.
What is y'all?
Gas,
$7?
electric. As in English money, it's probably about $15. $15, and it's just absolute joke. Really, really bad. Everything's gone up. Food, certain foods.
On disasters,
Because we're all the countries like America, we're all pulling away from the Russian oil. So that's why it's all gone up in price, because they were cheap. But we've sanctioned Russia on everything. Nothing over here is Russian related no more. We're not allowed.
wow.
Yeah.
Can I see what your background look like? See if you have regular houses like American houses. It's just
Yeah, this is like house, and then there's flats there.
like cottages.
Yeah, like little bungalows. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's ground floor. Yeah, and it's a
It's not
little
comparable to the
garden.
US.
No.
Yeah.
US, your
Wow,
place is
what
huge.
we do.
How many bedrooms? Like 4 or 5?
Only 2 here. This is my daughter's place. Yeah, this is my daughter's place. It's
So
just her
granddaughter.
partner and my granddaughter. Yeah. In my house, I have 3 bedrooms.
Oh, okay.
It's quite a big house, though.
Mine's a
quite
bigger
big
house.
supported.
Yeah.
Lex,
My house is
like
bigger.
what is yours? You said you in quarantine, so is that not your house, or is that your?
No, I'm in my company building right now, sitting in front of my company building.
Because you usually inside, so I'm like brick building outside. What is going on, Lexi?
Yeah, well, brick buildings are normal for us. Brick buildings are normal for us. We don't have, and that's the first time when I went to the US and Australia, it was really weird. And I said this to Joe the other day. You know, when you go through the front door, you're standing in the living room, and I'm like, what? You know, we have a hallway.
Yeah, we have a hallway. I've got a huge hallway, and then I go into the bedrooms. There's a bathroom, and then you've got the living room, and then I've got another room which is my kitchen, and then it goes into the back garden. I go upstairs, and
This is my
So,
favorite.
so the hallway basically
Wait,
connects.
how do I do it? I'm trying to my camera. That's my favorite spot. This is my dining room.
that's so huge. That's huge.
Well,
That's so
where's,
big.
where's
Your
your
house,
front door?
I'm back some, and that's my bookshelf right there. See, I'm back in it. It's not as huge as you think it is. It's the phone that's giving it that dimension.
oh
But
right, yeah.
my favorite spot, and that's my.
Yeah,
So
so my
where,
official house has 3 stores
so where
similar
do you
to
live?
this.
We
Where
have
do you live?
where do I live? In Virginia,
Yeah.
Port News,
Oh,
Virginia.
nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So do you have a wooden house or a brick house?
Aluminum siding.
Ah,
Aluminum, yeah.
Aluminum side. Well, no, it's siding. It's not more so aluminum, but it's siding. So it's not brick.
See?
It might.
You say aluminum, we say aluminium.
oh, we
You
say
say
aluminium.
aluminium. Aluminium.
Yeah.
It's
But we
so,
call
it's
it
so
siding.
weird.
It's more like, okay, to me, it's more like, you know how you do your shades? I don't know how y'all say shades, your curtain shades. It's more like strips of that than it is aluminum. Because I know in Chicago, we had the aluminum, and people that was on drugs and stuff, they were stealing that aluminum off the house and getting money off of it. So this is more,
Really?
yeah.
Oh
Because
my
they was doing drugs
God.
and getting money, they was stealing a lot of siding, aluminum siding. So it's more like if you have your shades,
Dankjewel. Oh,
you guys call it shades.
We call it,
You know that you
our
put over,
curtains. We call them blinds or curtains.
okay, like blinds or the blinds. That's how the outside siding look like that.
Oh no, see, ours is the inside blinds.
So I think it was brick.
Yeah.
So it looks
It's
like that.
mad.
Let me see. I'm gonna show you outside. It might be cold. It's gonna be real quick. I'm come back in, okay?
I know. I can
Hold
imagine.
on.
In Chicago, it's been snowing in Chicago, hasn't it? Really
Yeah.
bad.
yeah,
Well,
it's kind of
cold
nice
out here.
actually right
Let me
now.
show you the
Oh,
siding.
let me
So
take
that's
you
the
for a
siding.
walk
You see
for a
that?
sec.
Oh, right. Yeah. You know what you're living in? It's similar to what we call a caravan.
What?
It's made out of that. It's made out of that stuff that they build caravans over here.
Yeah, it's
And
a
if you,
wow.
recreational.
the ones over here are like houses. They're absolutely beautiful. Oh my.
Oh, that's aluminum
Oh,
siding.
it is quite big though, your place.
I wouldn't have been able to do this half a year ago, you know? This is so cool. Okay, so I'm going to show